give her a call. She's our local real estate agent and dear friend, Amy Curtis.
Thank you for the plug, Barbara. You're the sweetest. I hope that was okay. That was totally okay. Yeah, by all means, call me. I love that. Okay, can I just 1 second? Just 1 second. Screw it. It's just screw it. Okay. Here we go. A couple of weeks before Thanksgiving, on a Sunday visit with my sister Lisa, she says, I want us all to have a conversation about Christmas and Christmas Eve. And are we going to do a grab bag this year? For most all of my life, a conversation about Christmas, Christmas Eve, and the grab bag would have been completely unnecessary. There'd be no question about what was happening. As far as my memory takes me, the happenings on Christmas Eve were always the same, and there was always a grab bag. It was a tradition started before I was even born, the grab bag, having one person to buy a gift for and giving it to them on Christmas Eve. This is how it worked. On Thanksgiving, after dinner, after coffee and dessert, the grab bag happened. Everyone's names got put in a bowl and passed around, and everyone picked a name. Choosing of the name was a whole fiasco in and of itself, because inevitably someone would pick their own name and we'd have to go again. And we'd have multiple rounds, which only added to the fun. Oh, who did you pick? Oh, I picked you. If I had you, what did you want for Christmas? It was festive chaos. Eventually we'd do a round and no one would pick their own names, and someone would say, are we all good? I would say we are. And the top secret who had who in the grab bag would begin. But of course, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, when you saw someone would always ask, who you got in the grab bag? I can hear my brother Peter especially, who you got in the grab bag, Amy? And who, if he or anyone else would ask, you would just giggle or lie and ask them the same, who do you have? And in the weeks after Thanksgiving, you might figure out a couple of the who had whos, but mostly it was a secret until Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve wasn't just the grab bag. It was also the night of the best, most special sit-down dinners ever. For years and years, it was my mom and dad who made dinner. Pork crown roasts that were as pretty and festive as they were delicious, prime rib, beef tenderloin, fancy salads, spinach salads, salads with apples and walnuts, delicious homemade dressings. These were the things on the Christmas Eve menus. My mom was a great cook and she made great dinners every night, but Christmas Eve dinners, they were next level. They were special and added to the special that made Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve. And after dinner, the tables would be cleared and broken down. There'd be more coffee and dessert. And then finally, when you thought you couldn't take it for another minute, finally, the grab bag would start. And there'd always be some squabbling about the start. Is it youngest to oldest, gives first or receives? How did we do it last year? We'd figure it out and begin. And after the weeks of waiting, we'd open gifts and learn who had who. It was as exciting to give as it was to receive. I don't remember every detail of every grab bag, but I do remember a bunch of them. I remember the year I was probably 5 or 6, my sister Lisa was 4, and whoever had us in the grab bag must have been in cahoots because we each got wigs. We both had these short pixie haircuts, so getting those wigs and having this long brown and blonde hair, we were hysterical over them. And that's the year the braided living room rug got rolled back and exposed the hardwood floors and it became a dance floor. And the Supremes were put on the record player and Lisa and I giggled and danced and swung our long hair around all night long. I remember the year my brother Michael had me and he got me a pair of beautiful Frye boots. My brother Michael always gave extravagant gifts for the grab bag. You'd be lucky if he had you. I wonder what I did with those Frye boots. I wish I still had them because I think they'd still fit. and they would still be cool and extravagant now. I remember Christmas Eve 1989 because that's the year I got married, on December 23rd. It's a year the grab bag got moved to Christmas because of the wedding. And my husband Dave and I, we spent our wedding night downtown, but came back to my parents' house the very next day because we didn't want to miss it. The grab bag. A tradition started with my folks and their then 5 children, and then the 7 of us once Lisa and I came along. A tradition in a grab bag that grew and grew. With sisters-in-law as my brothers got married, brothers-in-law when my sisters and I got married, and babies, and more babies. And the kids and adults that they grew into, and their babies too. Christmas Eve, the grab bag. It was something. Like better than a Hallmark movie could write it something. It was wonderful. I don't remember the specifics of everyone, the who had who or what we had for dinner, but I remember noise and food and laughter and wrapping paper and surprises and hugs and kisses and thank yous and oh, I love it. And I remember how it felt. The mystery, the anticipation, the wonder, the festiveness, the lightheartedness, the all of it. Every year, it was magical. From Thanksgiving to Christmas, the weeks in between, I loved all of it. I don't know what happened. I don't know when it changed for me. Of course, over the years, the grab bag changed. I mean, our family grew bigger than one house could hold, and our family growing also meant considering other families and their traditions. And so, of course, on any given Christmas Eve, our grab bag wasn't the only place to be. I lived in North Carolina for a time, so my family wasn't always around for the holidays. So change, that's not it. But for years now, I just don't have that same feeling. Maybe it's a combination of things. I don't know when it started, but I have acquired that like seasonal disorder. I don't know, I just call them the winter blues, and I get them. There's some family strife, there was COVID, and that threw things off. And we've lost people, so there's been some grief at the holidays too. I think 2010 might have been the first worst Christmas. That's the year my mom died on December 8th, and that Christmas was really hard. I don't exactly know what it is, but for a long time now, if I'm being honest, the holidays are days I sort of dread and just try to plow through. I'd skip over them if I could. So when Lisa said she wanted to have a conversation about Christmas Eve and asked, are we having a grab bag, I told her, I need to think about it. And it was her question that got me thinking about it. All the Christmas Eves, the grab bags, how I used to feel during the holidays and how I don't feel the same now. And my mind kept wandering to Christmas Eve 2010, the year my mom died, the one designated in my memory as the first worst Christmas. I remember how determined Lisa and I were. We were really gonna try to have some semblance of a normal Christmas Eve. Just her family and mine, our grab bags small but in place. We made a plan for both days. We'd do Christmas at Lisa's house. Maybe we'd play games or go to a movie, and I'd have Christmas Eve. We'd have the special sit-down dinner and grab bag at my house. We thought we could make it happen, a Christmas Eve, something like the others. Looking back, I don't know how we thought we'd be able to pull it off. Prime rib, double baked potatoes, asparagus, Caesar salad. That was the planned menu. It did not work out. I think it was the baked potatoes that were done and the prime rib was still way too rare, and there was something messed up with the salad too. It was not a special next level sit down dinner. It ended up being eating everything piecemeal, like eating the salad and then just eating the potato, and then later still a piece of prime rib on the plate. It was not good. It felt like a disaster. And yeah, there was still the grab bag, but in the moment, it didn't feel much like Christmas Eve. And it was surely overwhelming grief grief more than dinner or anything else. And I can't speak for everyone else there, but my heart wasn't in it. I felt at a complete loss. Sitting around the table, finishing pieces of meat on our plates, I don't remember who asked, "What should we do now?" But I think it was Lisa who said, "Should we go Christmas caroling? Let's go Christmas caroling." And all of us around the table at first balked. Christmas caroling? Seriously? But then we're like, why not? What does it matter? For as awful as it was inside the house, outside it was an especially pretty Christmas Eve night. It was snowing, big fluffy flakes. And it was cold, but not so cold. And we bundled up, all of us. Lisa, my brother-in-law Greg, my 4 nieces, Caroline, Abby, Julia, Shelby, my husband Dave, my 2 teens, Michael and Joanna. We even took the dogs, Henry and Sam, and we all went out into the pretty Christmas Eve night. There was talk as we walked up the street. Are we really gonna do this? I made it clear, I'm not doing this. What carol are we gonna sing? But my sister Lisa, who can carry a tune and knows more show tunes and Christmas carols than any person I know, she marched right up some steps. And 3 of my nieces, like little ducklings following Mama Duck, they marched right up behind her. And my daughter Joanna, who doesn't want to be left behind or left out anything, she marched up too. And Lisa knocked on the door. In 2010, the show Glee was popular, as was the music, especially with my show tune Christmas carols singing sister Lisa. And when the people answered the door, she asked, "Can we sing for you?" And she broke out in song, and Joanna and Julia and Shelby and Caroline joined her in "We Need a Little Christmas." And oh my God, I wish I could sing, but I suck. They were so much better, but haul out the holly, put up a tree before my spirit falls again, fill up the stocking. I may be rushing things, but deck the halls again now, you know? For we need a little Christmas right this very minute. Oh, you guys are awesome. I stood in the street watching and listening to her, to all of them, their voices. Climb down the chimney, turn on the brightest string of lights I've ever seen. Slice up the fruitcake, she even had moves. It's time we hung some tinsel on the evergreen bough, for we need a little music, need a little laughter, need a little singing through the rafter, and we need a little snappy, happy ever after. We need a little Christmas now. We totally needed a little Christmas. I needed a little Christmas. And with the snow falling and the twinkling lights on the trees and eaves of the houses on the block, and their voices singing among the quiet stillness of a very, very pretty Christmas Eve night, it was the first worst Christmas, but in that moment, it was magical. A little Christmas right that very minute. Had dinner turned out even halfway decent, had the night not felt like a disaster, I doubt we'd even had considered caroling. It was only in the letting go of normal. It was only in being and feeling lost that some Christmas was found. And I'm so grateful we went caroling that year. I was then, and I still am now. And this is what I've been thinking about all these weeks, these thoughts and memories coming to me and turning over and over in my mind. And it is wild to me how a question, memories, a memory re-remembered can change your mind about things. But it's happened. Because the thing is, yes, I remember it was the year my mom died. I remember the grief. I remember dinner was a complete bust. But what I remember, the thing that stands out the most about that Christmas Eve, all these years later, is the caroling. The beauty of the night, watching my sister and the girls singing at the door, the love and the laughter, my heart bursting with the magic of it all. Lisa and I didn't end up having a specific Christmas conversation. Still, a plan has been made. Christmas Eve will be at Lisa's, and there's not going to be a fancy sit-down dinner, but there's going to be a grab bag, and no, I'm not going to tell you who I've got. But what I will tell you is I'm not bursting with holiday spirit. I am not super gung-ho about the holidays. It's December, and I have my winter blues. But I don't have the same holiday dread. I don't want to skip over anything. This year I feel some lightheartedness because of a memory remembered. And it speaks to me now, and it tells me I can let go of however things should be, how I should feel or be, and instead let things be what they are, but just be open to what might be, because even just a little Christmas can make for some magic. And as it was then, it can be now. A little Christmas is enough.